Right, just about ready to get going here. It's the Triad meeting, ITL 550, ITL 560. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Turn on your cameras. Brenda, I see yours. Chris, I see yours. Is it Tamania? Is that how we?
Tammany.
Tammany? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Welcome. Hey, all right. You guys can hear me okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. We'll start in just a minute. It's 4 o'clock. We'll wait maybe 4:01, get rolling. This is Triad meeting. And then we'll switch to the PLC. So the PLC will just be for Chris, you, and Brenda.
I could hear, it's a little bit low.
I can hear you just fine. My volume's low?
No, I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. So Brenda, maybe check your volume. Chris can hear me? All right, here we go. Okay. All right, everybody started their school year, by the way? How many of you are actually in class teaching right now? Brenda, are you teaching in class right now?
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, how about you?
Yeah, with Miss Lee.
Awesome. Okay, there we go. Okay. And let me double check. I have I have Miss Lee's contact information. Perfect. Bree's joining us. Okay, I think we're ready to get going. Bree's just about here. Okay, this is a combination of 550 and 650, which basically means, hi Bree, how you doing? Good to see you again. Which basically means it's a combination of, is that your SSP, Bree? Oh, beautiful. All on one. Beautiful. Okay. Anyway, the only difference between 550 and 650 is student teachers versus interns. Okay, right off the bat. So we're going to do a combined triad meeting because the introduction is basically the same. I'm Thomas Lux, Tom Lux. I've been with National since 2004. I've been in the intern and student teaching program for about 3 years now. So I myself was a chemistry teacher for 31 years at the high school level. So, you know, I've been an educator my whole life. And I always love new teachers and working with them. So that's a little bit about me. So real quick, let's do this. Brenda, tell me just real quick or tell the group what level you're teaching and whether you're an intern or a student teacher.
I'm an intern and I am teaching science, 8th grade science.
Beautiful. And what part of California are you in?
It's Calexico, California.
Calexico. Beautiful. Okay,
Yeah.
down south. All right, Chris, how about you?
I student teach with Miss Lee, and we are doing 8th grade science in Bakersfield, California.
Bakersfield. Awesome. Okay. Traveled through there many times, many times. Welcome. Bree, how about you?
Hi, sorry. Bree, teach 8th grade science out in Taft.
In Taft?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
very
Okay.
close to Bakersfield.
Yep, the oil town. Just a little southwest of Bakersfield, I believe, right? All
Yep.
right, okay. Perfect. All right, couple of things. I think you guys all are aware that as interns and student teachers, you're expected to be as professional as your SSPs in every respect, how you attend class, how you dress, And as far as this class goes, your promptness to engage and get every bit out of this class as possible. You know, you get out of it what you put in. So I know you expect that out of your students, and it's the same goes right here, okay? Because this is a learning environment. You guys are in what I call a fabulous field. I taught for 31 years, and I think I probably could count how many bad days I had on one hand. So it's all your mindset and what you make of it. And, you know, that's really important for you guys to, you know, understand that, okay? Now, let's get into the money aspect, okay? I did send out an email today, double check it. Basically, it's directions on how to, I'm going to share my screen here, how to get paid for everybody. So let me share my screen here. You guys can see this, right? It says Zoom. Okay, let's get rid of the little this thing. You're still with me, right? I haven't lost you. Okay. All right. This is basically one thing. This is one way to get to payment. And this wasn't actually the one I wanted to pull up. I want to pull up because this will take you to the next page I'm going to pull up. Nope, same one. Hold on. Okay, this one. Okay, so you guys do have this in your email. So please forward it to your SSPs because I just sent it to interns and student teachers, and follow these directions. But basically, these are the steps lined out. You're going to, step number one is to go here, okay? And that will take you to this thing. And then from here, if you're an intern, you click here. If you're a student teacher, you click here. And for my SSP, you click here. We'll just go to the SSPs one. And so it's going to direct you to a new site, and you're going to click at the bottom here. By the way, this is being recorded, so I will send this out, okay? And once you go there, you're going to be filling out some information here, okay? You go to continue down here. It's going to open everything up with some directions. You're going to be filling out this information here. Okay. Going to fill out your W-9. We all know that. Government likes their things. And so on and so forth. I know you guys have done this many times with any other job. But you want to do this sooner than later because you're, you know, you're going to get paid. Okay. So, go back here. So that's what that's how you handle payment. If you have any questions on this or run into any problems, reach out to me. I think I've provided my cell phone number. I'll give it to you right now. You can jot it down if you don't have it. It's area code 760-803-4633. Okay, area code 760-803-4633. Okay, so that's you know, you want to make sure that happens. Okay. Now there is another form. It's called and this is for the SSP. It's called an information sheet. Okay, and that needs to be submitted. Now, in the past, I've let the SSPs just do it, but I know you guys are all busy people, and sometimes it gets put on the back burner. So what I did is I sent a text to my interns and student teachers. You guys should have got that. And if you could just answer back on that text, those questions, they're just, you know, you could put them right there on the text, and I will fill out the SSP form for you, the information sheet. Okay, save you some time because I know you guys are busy. You're working full time. You're teaching. I'm not teaching full time. I have no problem doing it. Okay, Bree, did you raise your hand? Do you have a question, Bree?
Yeah, so you have my our info sheet from last class. Do you need it again, or are you just going to use that same one?
Well, the only thing that might change would be if the demographics of your class has changed. because now you're teaching new. If they haven't changed, then do me a favor and maybe just, I'm trying to think what's the easiest way. I should have it. Okay, maybe just send me a text saying you have it, and if I can't find it, then I'll ask you to resubmit it to me. Okay,
Okay, I'll resend it to you in the email and just say that this is all the same info.
oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, Bree, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay. So that's the directions. And again, this was emailed to the interns and student teachers, and please share it with your SSPs. Okay, send it over to them. I don't have everybody's email. Let me just check while I got you here. Brenda, I have your SSP as Lisa Mendoza. Bree Payne. I don't know if your SSP has changed. I don't have it in my notes, so maybe when you send over that email, include the contact information for your gentleman right there. And I may as well ask, who is this? Who's your SSP?
Hi, my name's Kevin Lackey. I teach 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade science here at Taft with Bree. So,
Okay, Kevin.
yeah.
And what's your last name, Kevin?
Lackey, Lackey.
Lackey. Okay. What I will need from you, Kevin, and if you want to put it in the chat, that would be fine, is just an email would be great. And if you want to share your cell phone, that would be great too. But if you don't want to, that's totally fine. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. By the way, let's go down. So just want to pull this up real quick. It's a schedule I want to go to today. It's not coming up real quick, but that's okay because I'm covering it anyway. Okay. Let me go out of here. Okay, so I did cover the supervision information sheet. Okay. Now, the only other thing I want to make the SSPs aware of is that there are due dates for the interns and student teachers, and I've posted those on the NU class schedule. Okay. And basically what we're looking at for everybody here, they have some things in common. There's going to be a lesson plan that is going to be submitted, and there is a template that is to be followed. Okay, an exact template. And so for Bree and Brenda, you guys know what that's like because I had you, last year. Chris, this was going to be new for you, and I'll go into that when we go over the PLC. But there is definitely a lesson plan, and that's submitted usually in week 2. Okay, so it's actually due now. I know we started late, or at least I know this class started on January 8th, but I'm not quite sure if you guys were engaged in there. But if we're going to follow the schedule, that lesson plan would be due by Sunday. Okay, so do your best to get that to me. And then the next thing you guys are going to do is you're going to videotape yourself teaching that lesson. Okay, and that'll be due the following week. Now, it's more than just a videotape. You're going to do annotations. And basically what that is, when you upload it into GoReact, and I'll go over this a little bit more, you're going to make comments about your lesson during the lesson, because I can only see through the eye of the camera, and sometimes that may or may not be the best viewpoint for me. So the comments are great, and the comments are geared towards which TPE you are covering at that point. Okay, so that's what the comments need to do be. And I'm just saying this in brief for the SSP, that you know that that's what the student teachers or interns are doing. And then also do at the end of the particular segment, the 3rd week or the 4th week for my interns, is what we call a TPE running record. Okay, and that's a spreadsheet, and it's covering all 6 TPEs. And as we know, each TPE is broken down into sections, and they're just keeping track of which ones they covered at what point, and it's a running record, so it's updated every couple of weeks. That's the gist of it, of this class. And then at the end, it gets a little more complicated because we're going to have a review and a individual development plan, so things change a little bit. Okay, but I just wanted to make my SSPs know that there are due dates for these, and the person you're either supervising or working with has those due dates in the class schedule. Okay,
Hey,
and again,
Mr. Mac-
question?
Hi, yeah, I have a question. We at my school, we have a curriculum, but it's not great, and we don't really use it. And because when I came into teaching, it was in GSS like right at the beginning, and we didn't have a curriculum, so we came up with our own,
Okay.
and we found it to be better than our curriculum that has been purchased by our district. So, my question is, Chris is using the TE to create his lesson, but we have a pretty rigid schedule with our with what we're trying to get done before state testing. Does he have to teach from the TE, or can he teach a lesson that we already have prepared and we just research the standards that he needs to cover?
He can go ahead and teach what lesson you've already created.
Okay, he just needs to put it in the structure of that lesson plan.
Yeah, he just needs to implement that, copy and paste it, whatever he wants to do to follow the lesson plan template that we have. And it should be an easy fit because they're pretty generic.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So we don't want to take away from what he's doing or what you already have in place, and that's not our intention. So I'm glad you brought that up because that's a good clarification. Okay.
Thank you.
There is a lot of flexibility on this because we do want you guys to grow in your environment, which is where you're at. So anyway, now the other thing that we need from the SSPs is what we call either biweekly or peer coaching, depends on who you are. So if you are working with a student teacher, the form is called a biweekly progress form. Biweekly just means twice a month. You're going to do a very quick summary of certain areas, and those forms your student teacher can get to. Okay. They're in the class website, so they should provide those to you. What I would require is for you to fill it out. It's very simple. It's half a page, and just email it to me. And I keep those on record, and those are done twice a month. The term biweekly sounds a little confusing. Sounds like it's twice a week, but it's actually twice a month. That's called the biweekly program. For my 650 interns, which is Bree and Brenda, it's called a peer coaching, but it's the same thing. Those are only required once a month, okay, to be filled out by the SSP. So the SSPs fill these out. You're welcome to share it with your candidate, but they're filled out by you guys and sent to me, okay? Any questions on that?
So is that form located in the course, or is that something you're going to email my SSP?
It's, I believe it's in the course, but I never count on it being in the course, so I will email it to you. Okay. I always like to provide things kind of as a double providing situation for you guys. Okay. Now, at the end of the term, the candidates are going to do a reflection, and they started this a year ago. Basically, it's a video reflection. Okay, and it's just you film yourself doing it on your computer, and you're reflecting about your experience. And then I'm going to do a little bit of review in there. And what I'm reviewing is I'm going to make notes on your reflection, but I'm also going to review which TPEs I feel you did well at, and which TPEs maybe you would like a little more work on. So that's just a candidate review. And one thing that they're adding at the end of the term is feedback from the SSPs. Okay. Now, how that feedback comes has not been made clear to me yet, but it will because it's new. So I'll make sure that gets sent out to interns and student teachers. Okay. Any questions? So just kind of in review for the SSPs, again, the payment portal is something that we want to get on right away so you guys get paid. The SSP information sheet, I'm going to fill those out. If you don't want me to, that's fine. You can do it yourself, and but I'm going to send out that link just in case. But I just found that for some reason it gets done when I do it, maybe because I have more time. You know, again, I'm reviewing. There are due dates for all assignments, and the way it kind of works is the student teachers work on 3-week blocks. Weeks 1, 2, 3 is a section, then 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. The interns work on month blocks, so they go 4 months, whereas the student teachers go 9 weeks. Okay, so it's a little bit different schedule. For this first section, I'm going to do the PLC because we do 1 PLC every block, and we're going to combine it for this first block because I got you all here, and it's a lot easier to do it, and it's a very introductory one. So that's a review. Do you SSPs have any questions for me?
I'm curious. I read in the handbook that Chris needs to be teaching for 2 weeks. Is that cumulative, or is that like the 2 weeks straight? What's
That's called the solo teaching, and you know what, Miss Lee, I'm so glad you brought that up because that's at the in an ideal world. Okay, in an ideal world, it's done right around weeks 7 and 8. Okay. We don't live in an ideal world, and I allow flexibility on that. Basically, it's 2 weeks. It should be all run together, but if it can't, it's fine. I have no problem with that.
I think it'll be fine.
Okay, but the
I'm
lesson
just curious. I just want to make sure.
yeah, that's good. And this is only for the 550 class. The lesson plan will be developed, you know, kind of in that line of 2 weeks.
Okay, but that's due this week.
No, that's not due till week 7 and 8.
So the lesson plan that he creates this week will lead to what he teaches in week 7 and 8.
Okay,
Is
no,
that
I'm sorry. I think I confused you.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. This is good. Every block, so whether it's the student teachers on a 3-week block or the interns on a month block, there is 1 lesson plan. There is 1 observation video and 1 running record. Okay.
Okay.
In addition to that, the last block for student teachers is going to be a 2-week solo lesson plan.
Okay.
The last block for the interns, which is month 4, is called an individual development plan. We're going to focus on that. So things get a little bit different that last block, and you know, I'll go over those with the parties involved. By the way, I'm glad you brought up the handbooks because they are out. I don't expect everybody to read every word. The handbooks are there as a guide. What I would love everybody to do, whether it's you're an SSP or a student teacher or an intern, is to open up the handbook and look at the table of contents. Just scroll down it because you can see what's on there. And that'll trigger your mind. Oh, what if I have a question? Oh, I remember seeing that in the handbook. Okay. I mean, you should review the handbook, but we're all human. We don't always, right? Right. We skim things. That's what we do. We're teachers, but definitely look over the table of contents for sure. Okay. Those handbooks, are available from the interns and the student teachers, but I'll also mail them out. Okay. Email them out. But that's something really important to kind of look over this first part of this first block. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, you said student teachers were getting paid. I thought it wasn't, they don't get paid.
Actually, I'm referring to, I think you're getting paid for supervising them.
So Miss Lee,
Yeah, I think the SSPs are getting paid and the interns are getting paid. The student teachers, let me clarify that. No, I don't believe student teachers get paid, but I believe their SSPs get paid, which is you, Kevin, and also the interns and their SSPs get paid. Okay. That's not my gig and that's nothing I really control, but I believe that's how it rolls. Anybody have any comments to further that? Interns, you guys get paid, right? Free, Brenda?
I don't know.
Okay,
Not to my knowledge.
really? I thought okay, you know what? Maybe I was under an assumption, so,
Don't interns get paid through their district?
Oh, yeah, we get paid
They're
through
employed.
the district, but not, I don't know if we get paid through.
that's
them.
true. Okay, I knew you got paid in one capacity through the district. And
Yeah,
I can,
but not for extra, like the extra hours. We just get our contract.
Salary.
correct.
Okay, I see.
Correct. Oh, and by the way, SSPs, while you're here, the intern or student teachers have a set amount of hours that they have to keep track of and log in. We call those ISV hours. And those can run anything from peer coaching, working with you, department meetings, workshops, seminars. All those need to be logged and put into the national class website that they're on. Okay, so just so you be aware of that. I know they are all aware, but I just want to make you aware as well. Any other questions?
Wait, who's logging the hours?
The intern or student teacher is.
Where do I log the hours at?
Oh, you don't have to log them in.
That's Chris. He does need to log them. He's
Yeah,
the
well,
student
That's
teacher.
Chris. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. Yeah, I'll go over that as soon as we switch over to the PLC meeting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll switch over to that. Sorry, I thought that was Kevin talking. Okay, that was you, Chris. Yes, you're going to be logging those in. Okay, in regards to the SSPs, any questions from Kevin or Ms. Lee?
No, I'm good.
Okay, you guys are free to go with your day. You can hang around if you want, but we're going to move into the second portion of this, which is the PLC meeting. Okay, thank you guys for
Thank you.
attending. And
Bye.
let's move into the PLC. Okay, PLC meeting. First of all, let's just kind of review. Let me pull up the class itself here. Log in. I assume this looks the same for you guys, right? When you guys log in, it's pretty much the same.
So I do have a question about doing the lesson plan assignment. So it's due Sunday, but we haven't recorded anything and we were unsure when we were going to do anything. So I haven't actually generated that lesson plan because when I initially spoke to her, I was like, hey, I need the TE to work on that. And she's like, hey, we don't use the curriculum as she told you. So we were going to wait for this meeting to talk to you about it and see where to go from there. So we haven't actually started anything yet.
Okay, and I understand that. I understand some school districts that are on a little different schedule, even though this national class has started, you may not have been rolling. So those actually, in my book, are out there just to kind of keep you on track. But if you need flexibility on them, I have no problem as long as you just let me know. Okay, so for you, Chris, the fact that it would be due this Sunday may not work for you. Okay. So let me show you what I mean by here. I'm going to pull up the 550 class. Okay. As you can see, I have definite due dates here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So January 18th, the video lesson plan, the lesson plan is due. Okay. If you're not ready to turn that in, just send me a text or an email saying, whatever the reason is, just let me know. And I have no problem with that. Okay.
Okay.
Because again, I understand the interns have a little more flexibility on their schedule than the student teachers, because the student teachers are working with, you're in the class with a teacher and you're not flying solo yet. So you're kind of at the whim. So just let me know. Okay. What we want to avoid is when this class is over, and as you can see, the class dates for the student teachers ends on March 30th, I believe. Okay. So you want to make sure that everything is kind of flowing by then, so you're not crammed on March 30th with, catching up on a lot of assignments and everything. We just want to avoid that. is all.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll probably need a little flexibility. I'll talk to her tomorrow about it because she was unsure too. So, but yeah, that way we can get a video going, just like record it with an iPhone or something. How do we do that exactly?
Well, first of all, the lesson plan is just a lesson plan you're going to submit to me, and I'll talk about that in a moment. Then a week later is the video of that lesson.
Oh, okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the intent of these lesson plans, whether you're 650 or 550, is for you to get the lesson plan to me, a week before you're going to actually video it. So I can review it, make comments, and you can take these comments for whatever you want and make adjustments if need be. So when you actually film it, maybe you've done it with a little bit of feedback.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a lesson plan and then a video of that lesson plan. Now,
Okay.
how do you record the lesson plans? You got to be creative, right? Bree and Brenda, you guys have done this. You know what I saw that worked really well? Really well was somebody, whoever was filming, and you could use your iPhone to film these, it doesn't matter. I think even your computer can film them. But what worked really good was whoever was filming was following the teacher, as opposed to just putting the camera in the corner, stationary, and panning out to the teacher. That's what 99% of the people do. But a few people actually got creative, and it worked beautifully because it allowed me to see your lesson, the person following the teacher. So if the teacher moved around the room, guess what? The camera followed him around the room. So, you don't have to do it, but it just gives me more insight when you're videotaping. Okay. And don't worry if the lesson plan goes south. It doesn't matter. Things happen, right? Things happen in teaching. They don't always go as planned. Right, Bree, Brenda? They don't always, sometimes you got to improvise. Sometimes a situation occurs and you got to deviate from your lesson plan. That's okay. Just keep filming. Just film away. Okay. I'm not grading you on the quality of your lesson.
Yeah,
I'm just
I
giving
kind
you-
of like when something goes a little wrong. That way, when I am doing my annotations, I can say, like, in this moment, I had to adapt or adjust and kind of show some of the different skills that I do have that maybe won't translate on camera without something going wrong.
Perfect, because that's real life, right? Brenda, I mean, that's the way teaching rolls.
Yeah.
You got so many variables going on during a lesson. You got 30 kids, each with their own personality. You got things that maybe didn't get downloaded or set up, prompts, visuals, all kinds of things can happen. So making adjustments during the video is totally fine. Okay, so the way you deal with that is during the annotation, you might say, my lesson plan intention was to have an in-depth discussion of hydrogen bonding, but the kids just weren't quite getting it, so we had to deviate, and this is what you're seeing. That's what I really love to see. So that's where the annotations come in. The annotations are feedback of yourself watching yourself teach. And that's on the video lesson that you're submitting. And generally speaking, again, kind of the rule of thumb is whether you're the intern on a month block or a student teacher on a 3-week block, the last week of that block is when I hope to see your lesson plan, video, and your TPE running record. Halfway through that block, which generally is about the 2nd week, is when I like to see the lesson plan in writing. And we'll go over the lesson plans in a minute. Okay. These due dates are there as guides. Just try to get as close to them. And if you can't, just send me a text or an email. Okay. By the way, since I got you here, I do have Chris, I have your cell phone, and Brenda, I have yours, and Bree, I have yours. Joshua is not here. And as Brenda and Bree knows, I like to communicate with text because I know that goes right to your phone right away and you see it, right? Text come up right away. So I use text a lot. Okay. So as you're in your class, and this one happens to be the 550, make sure that you guys have gone into content, hit the content button up here, and you can see the various areas here. Okay. Now, one thing that's really important is the student resources. Okay. You both have it, whether it's 650 or 550, and then candidate resources. Okay. And here's where you go for your handbook. Now, if you click on it and you get this little thing here, you click on it, it may ask for a password, and that's fine. I sent the password out, but I'll give it again, and it's all capital letters. Okay. It's NUTPA. Could be, that's what they tell me. NUTPA, and it didn't open for me. Interesting. Okay. I don't know why I didn't do that, but that's okay. For some reason, this password is getting a little quirky. So if you can't get it open for you, just let me know. Okay. But this is also where you're going to find the templates. Basically, the templates and the handbooks, see, maybe it's because it was already open, are all in the NU library. So I don't know if you noticed what I just did. I went to the, I believe it was the lesson plan, and it wouldn't open. But then I went to the handbook and it opened to the library. But either way, this is where you're going to go. So this is where the handbooks are for intern, okay, student teachers, intern SSP, student teacher SSP. All the handbooks are different. Now, one thing I do want to go into is the lesson plan templates, okay? And it's really important that you use these templates, okay? You can copy and paste my 650B students who are going to get real busy, which is Bree and Brenda this year with your cycle TPAs. They might have a different template for that, but you're just going to copy and paste everything into this template. So for this class, whether you're an intern or a student teacher, I want you to use the National University templates, okay? Now, I want you to see here that some of the templates are worth more points than others, okay? Generally speaking, the first 3 of 4 lesson plans for my interns, or the first 2 of 3 lesson plans for my student teachers, use one template with 15 points. That last lesson plan of the block, so whether it's the 3-week block for student teachers or the month block for interns, it's a different template. It's worth 20 points. Okay, so I'm just going to open one up here because I want to show you guys something. Hopefully it opens up for me. Here we go. See it working. Now, it does make a difference whether you have a Mac or a PC. Sometimes they open up easier for one or the other. It's taking its sweet time. Here we go. All right. Okay. So this is the lesson plan template for 550A. It is not the lesson plan for 650B. But you 650B people went through this with 650A, and it's very similar, okay? But I don't think we need to actually get to the exact template because the message I'm going to give you is generic. As you fill out your lesson plan, okay, and you can see the things you're going to be filling out here, and the green is for your information. But as you fill this out, okay, as you fill out each area, what I recommend you guys do, I strongly recommend, is I would print out this rubric, and the rubric is at the bottom of each lesson plan template. And I would make sure that as you are filling out your lesson plan, you're going to the rubric. And you're doing exactly what the rubric says. So identified at least one content standard. So when you go up here, okay, and you fill out your content specific standards right here, you put it in there. Because I'm gonna, if you don't have a content standard, that's going to be a deduction. Okay, so as you, again, the message I'm leaving you guys is make sure that you have this rubric. And again, I recommend you print it out and have it next to your computer. Don't scroll up and down like I'm doing. It's just too easy to miss stuff. So just have it printed out. And as you write your lesson plan away, you can look over at your rubric and go, okay, the first thing I have to have is one content standard, go put one content standard in. And then I have to have the next thing, at least one ELD standard. Okay, you look at the rubric, says I need one ELD standard. You go in there and you put one ELD standard. That make sense? Chris, does it make sense?
Yeah, I was having a little trouble finding it, but I just now found it. So
Okay,
so we identify one content center, we put it where on there exactly?
well, where are you going to put it? You go up to your lesson plan template. Okay, as you can see here, first thing is the title of the lesson, the subject, grade level, time frame, California content standards. You're going to click right here. And you're going to start typing away. Standard is Adams. I just made something up. You just type in it, whatever the standard is.
Just copy it in there.
Just copy it in there. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. These things are very interactive. You just, you click away, boom, boom, type, type, type.
And where would the learning goal and all that go? Oh, wait, never mind. I see it.
Yep. 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 It's gonna come to mind real easy because it's in the same order. The rubric is in the same order as your lesson plan.
Okay.
So,
So, I'm sorry.
Go
I
ahead,
did have
Chris.
I did have a question because I know that we have to hit all these.
Mhm.
When you're teaching your lesson, like do you have to like put that in your lesson? When for everything for like your hold on a second. Like if you have to put what you do for the ELD, the EL, and all that. How does that work exactly?
I mean, when you're actually teaching it,
Yeah.
well, that's called the art of teaching. Okay. And everybody has their own method of how they teach things. We'll talk about that in a moment. Whether you
Okay.
actually put these standards on the board, for the students to see, you verbalize them for them to hear, you have a handout for them to read, whatever method you feel comfortable with, the information you're providing to them is what you're going to do. And I would work closely with your SSP, especially student teachers, and see how they do it. I also encourage you guys to watch other teachers teach because you're going to see how they do them. And you're going to see some great teaching. You're going to see some not so great teaching. Okay. But also keep in mind, a lesson plan is a pathway. You don't have to follow that pathway exactly. If you forget things during your actual lesson that are in your lesson plan, that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. Does that help, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. So again, the one thing I want to stress is this lesson plan that I'm scrolling up and down is the exact order as the rubric. So if you decide for whatever reason, I'm not going to do this part of the rubric in my lesson plan, I don't believe it, that's fine. But guess what? You don't get points for that part of the rubric. There's points right down here. Okay. So I've had students who just forget to follow the rubric. Doesn't mean their lesson isn't a beautiful lesson. But for my purposes, for grading, I'm going to follow the rubric. Okay. So the rubric gets a little more complicated during that last lesson of each month or 3-week segment. That's why it's worth 20 points instead of 15. Are there any questions on the lesson plan?
For us, do we use template B, the one that says 650B?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Brenda. Yes. For Brenda and Bree, you guys are on, we're in 650B, so you're gonna use the B templates,
Okay.
okay?
And then the first 3 months we use the 15 point, and then the last month we use the 20 point.
You got it.
Yeah, okay.
So, back out of here. Close this up. Don't need that anymore. Let's do, for Chris, as you can see down here, there's a lot of template, TPE running record. This is, for where you go to get your running record and directions. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the running records. Okay, let's see if I can pull one up here. Okay, here's the form. Okay, this is a running record. And it's the same whether you're in 650 or 550. It's the same running record. Okay. So you're going to put your name at the top, grade level, school site, SSP provider name. And the way it works is you can see there are TPE 1, 2, and so on, with all the breakdowns. Now, in an ideal world, during your course, you will have an opportunity to do every one of these at one point. Now, clearly, you're not going to cover every TPE in a lesson, or in one lesson plan, or one video observation. But at any time, let's say, Chris, next week on January 23rd, on a Tuesday, you did this in your class, applying knowledge of students, including their prior experiences. You did an exercise or something that involved this, where you reached out to their prior experiences, their past, their expectations. Maybe you had a discussion. Maybe you did, a little mini lab or something. You're going to go in here and you're going to fill this out, and you're going to say, okay, on 1/23, body, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. And all this information applies to this TPE. Okay.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Chris?
Yes.
Okay. And what you are going to do is, for the first 1 to 3 weeks, or for my interns, first month, your writing is in red. Okay. So, let's say that you happen to cover this TPE 1.2, but you didn't do this till, the second 3 weeks or the second month for my interns. Whatever you did, it's going to be, guess what, in green. So that just kind of gives me an idea of when you did it. Okay, so all this is intended to do, the spirit of this is for you to be aware of the TPEs and try to perform them at any point, at any level, at any time during your 9 weeks or 4 months, and keep track of it. Okay. And if you happen to repeat one, say you did this twice, you can put it in here. Okay. As a second time, just put a second date. I'm not going to grade you on whether you did everything here, filled out every box. Some student teachers, some interns have completed every one of these, and obviously that's a goal. But what I would like to see is depth. So I would rather see 2 areas here with more than 1 sentence than 5 areas with just 1 sentence. Today I engaged the kids. Well, that doesn't really tell me much, right? Today we had a discussion to engage the kids, and to get them engaged, I called on them, not by raising their hands. I reached out to them individually, randomly, and the intent was to keep them focused. You'd be typing that out, a description of what you did. That's what I want to see. So I want to see quality, not quantity. That make sense? And try to spread it out. So you're covering an equal amount of TPEs for the running record during each block of 3 weeks or 1 month. That's the TPEs. And it's just a running record. So as I scroll down through here, I can see, you know, which ones you did. Okay. I think there's a sample here of these. Let's go back to here. Sample. Here's a sample. Okay. See, you can either do it in black and highlight the whole thing in green for month 2. You know, or actually type the letters in that color. Doesn't really matter, but you can kind of see. Okay, Christina sent home notes to parents regarding student behavior, progress on work, and overall classroom attitude. That fits this TPE of maintaining ongoing communication. So these are just things that you're doing every day. You're just keeping record. I really encourage you guys to keep a journal or some sort of logbook with you so you can jot these things down as you're doing them, so you don't forget. Okay. Now this one is actually full of a lot. I don't expect this many notes in here. You know, here's 3 notes for 1 TPE. Okay. Don't feel like you have to do any of this. If I just got 1 note in green here for this TPE, I'm fine. Again, I would rather see this kind of detail in green than a bunch of entries that are just a quick sentence long. Okay. Any questions on the TPEs? Okay. So just to be fair, everybody. Okay, this is 650B. Okay. Brenda, this is yours. You can see the course home. Have a start end dates. Okay. Content. Same thing, very similar. Okay. All your resources. Let's talk about intern support verification. In fact, Brenda and Bree, you've done that. So I'm going to go back to Chris to show you where to go. I know you have to do them. Okay, I need to research that a little bit. I'm not sure where, Chris, they're putting your thing, because I'm almost sure you have to do it, but you know, I could be wrong on this for you, Chris. Whether you have to do ISV hours or not. Have you had a chance to go through this course, Chris, and see if you need to do ISV hours?
I don't know what those are, so no.
Okay, you may not have. They may not be required for you. I haven't taught the 550 class in about a year and a half, and they're always changing these things, so I will check that out. But basically, Chris, you know, you do is what's up here, okay? And Brendan Bree, you know everything about the ISV hours, so we don't need to worry about that, okay? So I'm just curious, does your guys' website look just like this, pretty much?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Okay, the Go React, Chris, that's where you're actually going to launch your video. Okay, and there's instructions on how to do it. If you have any questions, this is where you're going to upload the video of you teaching during each of the 3-week blocks.
Okay.
Okay, if you have questions on this, feel free to call. Again, I encourage you guys to go to the student handbooks first. Okay. See if they'll be nice to me and pull up. No.
So this Go React is the app I have to use.
That's the app you use for your video. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So one thing I do want you guys to just do, as I mentioned, open up your particular handbook. Okay. And go down the table of contents. Just take a look. Okay. And if you have any questions, this is your first resource. Second resource is your SSP. Third resource is me. Okay. So as you go through here, you know, you get an idea of what you're up against just by looking at the handbook. There's everything about observations, the annotations. Okay. And you know what, Chris? I don't think you have to worry about ISV hours. Not looking like it. Probably why it wasn't in there. So good for you. One less thing you have to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, finally, the one thing I do want to say to all of you is, number one, you guys have a lot of obligations, a lot of people to answer to. You have, number one is your students. Okay, they're number one. And you have expectations for your students. But I do want to say this. Chris, this is going to be new to you, not to Brenda and Bree. What is the most important quality for a teacher to have? Does anything pop
Class
up?
management.
Thank you. Okay, class management is number one. If you don't have class management, you have nothing. When I ask this question, I get, oh, the teacher needs to be understanding. The teacher needs to be patient. Yeah, of course, you need all that. But it's hard to be understanding, patient if you don't have great class control. So at some point, Chris, I think you're going to be teaching a lesson by yourself. Brenda and Bree do this every day. Class control is so, so important. And it's really important that that is established from day one. And whether day one is for the intern when they walk into that class, or for the student teacher, when that student teacher is involved in the class but not necessarily teaching it, how you conduct yourself, your students are going to watch. They're going to watch everything you do. And so make sure you always conduct yourself in a professional manner. Make sure you have in your mind how you expect the class to be run, because they are visitors to your home. It's not the other way around. Okay? Make sure we get that out of our mind. We are their teacher. We're not there to be their friends. We're there to be their professional teacher. And that line is a tough one, because we want to be liked by them and we want to be accepted by them. But you know what? You don't have to be. They don't have to like you. They don't have to accept you. But darn right, they better respect you and your class. That is number one. And if you establish that, they will tend to like you more. They will tend to respect you more. Teaching is an art, I think. And class control is something that constantly needs to be worked out.
4 minutes.
So however you want your class to be run, establish rules to follow that. Work with your colleagues. If you're having difficulty with your class control, reach out to your colleagues. Go watch another teacher teach who has great control. And then go watch a teacher teach that has lousy control. And boy, that'll open up your eyes. Okay. But this first PLC meeting is a reminder how important class control is. Because if you have great class control, then you can engage the students. You can work with problem kids. You can work one-on-one with kids. You can be a lot more flexible with your class and your lesson if you have great class control. But if you don't have great class control and you're afraid of turning your back on the class because they'll be going nuts, that's not teaching, that's a nightmare. And that'll get you out of teaching real quick. Okay. So, you know, Chris, work with your SSP. You're in a good situation because hopefully they already control the class. Brenda and Bree, we've been through a whole term with this, and I was so impressed with your guys' class control in 650A. I don't know if you guys have the same students as you did, and you do, okay? Both of you, okay? Good job. So, you know, But again, they're kids. Their brain is different than ours, and they always going to test you. Okay, they're not on the same cognitive level as you. With that said, finally, great teachers have the ability to see through the eyes of their students, not through their own eyes. Okay, what might be clear to you and your eyes may not be clear to them. So try to see the world as they see it, and you'll have a greater understanding on how to teach and be more effective if you can see the world through their eyes. That used to be a whole segment in this class where, you know, seeing the world through the eyes of the students, and they don't do that anymore. But that's really important. Okay. Any questions or comments?
I have a few questions,
Yes.
but it's in general.
Yeah, Brenda.
Would you happen to know when do we start cycles, the cycle TPAs?
I wish I could answer that to you, but I know you're going to find out. I'm pretty sure you have an advisor, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did email, but they haven't responded.
Okay. And that's understandable because we are still in early January, and you know, some districts, some schools, some educators may not be fully engaged yet, but believe me, they will.
Do you
Brenda, I think we're kind of on the same pace, and in my portal, it says we start the co-requisite class in February, I believe.
So that's the seminar class?
Yeah, where we would actually start putting everything together. I think it's called 651.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that we've been at the same pace, so I would assume you're probably in the same situation where you start one in February and the other one starts in April. So it's like
Oh, okay, so
February
those
and March
classes
is
are for
one.
that, for the cycles?
Yes.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but maybe just check your portal because that's what mine's showing. And under the class enrollment.
Yeah, I'm enrolled too, but I wasn't sure because I've been like thinking of that and I wasn't sure when we were gonna start. Thank
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
you're missing, Chris. Bria and Brenda are going to be slammed.
you.
Don't say that.
But it's a
Please
good
don't.
slam. It's a good slam. And you know what? Everybody just keep in mind that patience is the key to successful teaching and planning and time management. Okay. Really keep your mind clear as well as class management. But in terms of all the things you have to do, writing things down so you can see, you know, your task ahead of you really takes it out of your mind and keeps it sane. Okay, so I say that to anybody doing any professional task. Write your, you know, at the start of the week, what you need to get done that week is much more effective if it's written down in front of you. Okay, that's why
Then-
journaling is so good.
One more question that's in general too.
Mhm.
For the intern process, I'm not sure, it's because I also emailed them that, but they haven't responded. I'm not sure if it's like, do you happen to know if it's a full year? Or is it gonna be 2 years? Do I still need to do 2 more courses?
Oh, for this, no, it's going to be, you did 650A and the 650B. That'll be done. And then as long as you finish 651, the cycles, you'll be done.
Oh, okay. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't have to do more classes.
No, the
Or-
only reason to do more classes like 650C would be if you didn't finish 650B.
Oh, okay.
National's going to charge you money for not finishing and make you go to a class just to finish those assignments. It will be nothing new.
Okay.
Yep, and I'll make sure that you don't get into 650C because it's going to cost you money. And I want to, you know, so I'm going to stay on you guys to make sure that you get this class done.
Okay. Sounds perfect.
Same for you, Chris. I'll make sure everything, stay on top of you to make sure everything gets done. And please don't put me in a position where I have to report you guys as, they call it a CAF form. If you're not doing your job, I have to fill out a form. I believe in working with you guys individually if you run into issues with your task for this class, as opposed to filling out a form and making some bureaucrat come after you. Okay.
Mhm.
But if I have to do it, I will. You know, that's why I say just communicate to me if, you know, I had one student, Brindy, and you guys remember her from last semester who actually had to go through surgery. She plowed out her knee and was, you know, disabled for a little bit. Life happens. If life happens to you guys, just let me know and we'll work it out. Well, I'll make sure that I get you guys to the finish line no matter what, as long as I get communication from you. Okay, but also keep this in mind. You guys have expectations of your students, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to be happy if they don't do as they're told on time, correct?
Mhm.
But you're also going to be human and you're going to understand that sometimes life gets in the way of your students and maybe they need a little flexibility and you work with that as long as you know what that is, correct?
Mhm.
I had one student who, I think I told you this, was late every day for my class, 10 minutes. He was perfectly on time, late every day. And finally I asked him, I go, Jose, why are you late every day? He goes, Mr. Lux, I live in a hotel across town.
Mm.
He takes the bus. Well, guess what? Bus got him there, same time every day. Unfortunately, it was 10 minutes. I understood where he was coming from. He understood what I was coming from, and he moved from a B to a B just because we had that communication. So I know that you guys will run into this as teachers. On the same token, you are students of me, and I have expectations of you, which includes communication and being professional. And as long as we communicate, we're going to get to the finish line. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have for today. This is recorded. I will send it out as a video. I convert it to YouTube, and let's get started with this class. And do me the favor of giving me your SSP information I sent out on the text, or CCing or popping it back. It's the same, and it's the same demographics and the same SSP. But you all should have gotten a text from me, right, Chris? Brenda, for you today?
I noticed that you have mine. Do you still need me to send it again?
Just send me, you do me a favor, just send me a copy of the information you sent me.
Okay.
Because I still got to fill out the form. And the form that I have on file is a PDF file, so the dates will be reflecting old dates. So all I'll do is change out those dates. So just send me a copy of what you already sent me, because I will re-upload it.
Okay.
Okay.
I
so
didn't. Oh, I'm sorry.
Just go ahead.
I didn't receive a text message from you.
You did. Okay. Let me see what I got for your number. I have. Oh, I may have sent it to Miss Lee. Yep, I think I did. I have 661-900-4812.
That's me. Yeah.
Okay, I sent it to Miss Lee. I will resend that text to you. Okay, that I sent out, so you'll get that. And just give me that information and I will fill out the SSP information for your SSP.
Okay.
All right. Any last questions? All right, everybody, let's have a great term with your students. And, you know, looking forward to the next PLC meeting, and I'll give you all those dates ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Good
Bye.
luck. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.